is power.
What's up, everybody? Peace. Peace.
Information is power.
What's up, everybody? Peace. What's up, everybody? Peace. All right, everybody. I'm gonna get into it. Woo-woo. We gotta talk about the truth today. Woo, let's talk about the truth, baby.
Tell the truth.
Give me 1 minute, folks. Okay, everybody. Peace and love to you. Thank you for being here. It's been a rough week for me. You know, I told some of you a week ago that I had a passing in the family, and just trying to still process everything like that. It's been very difficult, but it's one of the things that happen in life that you have to deal with and confront these kind of realities when you lose loved ones in your family. What I want to do today is I have a series of video to show you, and I have a series of a few audios, and I'm going to give my diatribe. We already know that Republican Senator Tim Scott said in a speech, which was his rebuttal to Joe Biden's speech, the State of the Union speech, in which we still don't hear any black tangibles. We still are not hearing what they're going to do. Let me know if you can hear my volumes just well, everybody out there. Peace to you, those of you that are coming in. We're still not getting the tangibles that are directed towards black people, and I'm going to show you today in my presentation. When you come over to the Information Man channel, you are going to get information that you can learn from. I'm going to give you data. I'm going to give you facts. And let me just say this to everybody watching out there in the chat room, people that have been supporting me. You are all high value. We got all this bullshit on YouTube about high value. Is it about a high value man having money, clothes, whatever? You're all high value because you are a child of God. Period. End of the damn story. All that other shit is superficial. Because I lost someone dear to me, and they can't take their money, their cars, or anything with them. But they've got God. They've got memory, spirit that the family will uplift. What I want to talk about is that it's a damn shame that Tim Scott said what he said, and then he turned around and admitted that he's been a victim of racism himself in that speech. So if you've been a victim of racism yourself, then how can you say that America isn't a racist society, a racist country? This country was built on the very foundation of racism through the triangular slave trade, through all the laws, the Jim Crow laws, the oppression, the buck breaking that they were doing. States like Maryland, where they would make black women breed and have children for the sake of putting them on the slave plantation. All these things happen through our history. You've got redlining. You've got black folks who've had their land stolen, all sorts of things. How many of you out there right now talk about America not being racist anymore? How many of you out there know what's going on in Memphis right now? Memphis, Tennessee, you've got black folks who have their own land, and you've got an oil company. I think it's the Balal oil pipeline. You got an oil company that's trying to build a pipeline right through a black community, and they're trying to get rid of these black folks. They're trying to take their land. Matter of fact, there's an article out saying that they're giving black people in this community a warning that they better get out and sell, or it's going to be trouble for them. This is the so-called non-racist society that we live in. Now, let me just say this, because I know I'm going to have some naysayers, and I'm going to have some knuckleheads, buck dancers out there. Yes, there have been black people who have gone to college and they have a great education. They're living a great lifestyle. They're doing something for themselves. Yes, there are black people that have been successful in our society despite all the odds. I'm not spilling this information to say, well, because racism, because America is a racist country and these things continue to go on, that means you just give up black people and you can't be successful. Not saying that. You can still be successful. You can still move forward in your life, but you still have this obstacle that you got to jump over that may be in your way, and you just move it and keep going. That's what I'm saying. There's black people, black men, women, woo, tongue-tied folks, black women, and there are black men who have been able to knock down those barriers that have been in front of them, but the barriers still exist. Then there are some of us who have not been able to move ourselves out of our particular social condition that we find ourselves in, Okay, because racism is white supremacy equals institutionalized racism that is embedded in the systems. We have, how can you tell me that racism doesn't exist when you still have black men and women who are being shot by police around this country, who are being mistreated, walking in neighborhoods like the young man that was walking in his own damn neighborhood, when you have police that have indiscriminately been killing us and getting off for it. And everybody wants to celebrate because of George Floyd, because George Floyd got justice, or at least his family got justice. And we think that, okay, you got white folks out there and Black Lives Matters marching around, so everything is everything. And I'm here to tell you that everything is not everything. Look at that picture right there. This is about truth, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell the truth.
Remember, they talked about there was a mural in which someone put the N-word on the mural. So America isn't a racist country anymore. Okay, if it was not a racist country, then you wouldn't have this sort of stuff happening. After a man was killed before our eyes on camera, we could all see it. Okay, so America's not racist, but yet George Floyd mural gets discarded, ladies and gentlemen. They'll tell you that America's not racist. This is what some of the black conservatives always push, like the Larry Elders. This is what they push. They say that America's not racist because you had a black president, right? You had your first black president, and we already know that presidents are selected. We only elect them. Okay, so Obama was in office for 8 years. Black folks are in the still same condition that we were in prior to Obama being in office, and even after Obama being in office. Matter of fact, when Obama was in office, and I know some of you Obama folks out there ain't gonna like what I got to say, but you can do the research. And I did a video on this. When Obama was in office, black wealth shrunk. Matter of fact, black home ownership shrunk under President Obama. See, we've got these tethers like this who hold us back. They hold us back from what we really need to be achieving in this society. Let me take something off the board there, one of the overlays. And we got these kind of individuals. You see Jesse Lee Peterson, a sheriff, whatever, Clarence Buck Dance Thomas. And we know about Candace Owens. She just can't stop running her mouth for white media. And she can't stop being the mammy that she is. And we know Larry Elders from LA, we know that he's the one that tells you if you just be calm, you just follow what the police tell you to do, you'll get home safely. We've had black men and women that have followed the rules and still remain getting shot. We have Deontay Wright, who got shot with a stun gun. He got shot with a real gun. Let me correct that, when it was supposed to be what? I thought it was supposed to be that he got shot with a real gun. The police officer, let me say it again. The police officer pulled out a real gun on the young man is what I'm trying to say. Excuse me there for that boo-boo. And there on the screen you can see is the yellow stun gun versus the top, which is a real gun. Something does not compute here. Something does not add up.
Tell the truth.
How can black people be getting shot with real guns, and then police tell you it was a stun gun that they thought that they had in their hand, like what happened to Oscar Grant in Oakland, California? Okay, these are the sort of bullshit things that happen. Now, I'm going to get into it because let me read something to you right here to put some more sticky on the wiki here. And let me take that off the screen right there. Okay, now, Asian Americans they signed a bill. Joe Biden was a co-signer on this. They signed a bill. They pushed it forward to focus on Asian hate crime because Asian people in America were catching, people were hating on them because Donald Trump and his administration, and they were saying that they have the virus, that they are the reason why we have the virus here. So a finger was being pointed to them. And then you had these series where you had incidents around the country where Asian people were being attacked. Then in New York, you had several incidents where you had Asian people being attacked, and they would always say, oh, it was a black male. And they would point their finger to black people and say that we're the ones attacking Asian people. I'm going to stump that bullshit out today for once and for all. I got the numbers on it. Now you've got all those men in New York that they kept saying were attacking Asian people. You notice, I think Tariq talked about this on his channel. You notice they all had similar colors on. They all had some type of red color, something that would make them stand out for the police to know that, hey, that's our folks. We're paying these folks to go out there and do stuff to folks. See, they want to remember in New York, you had the stop and frisk law, and they got rid of it because that was what they were using to harass black males walking on the streets of New York. Now with all this thing about Asian hate crime and now trying to make black males the face of it, they can now justify doing what? Funding the police. They can justify saying, well, we can't defund the police. We've got to give the police more funding because we got these folks out here. We got our best of our minority group. They're being attacked. We got to protect them. And by doing so, we can also around the back end make sure that we put more funding and make this about black males attacking people on the streets, such as the Asian population. And now we can justify why we need money and we need stop and frisks and we need more programs. And then what you have is that you have Negroes like this who will reinforce it. And I've got some more. And you got the bootlickers. You see them on there. You recognize them. You got one who has fried chicken in his mouth. Then you got the mammy show. You know those ladies cooning and mammying for Donald Trump. And then guess what? Fox News dropped them like they never knew them, like they were a bad habit. Right? They tell me and you that America is not a racist country because you have these individuals like this you see on the screen that will push a narrative to you that everything is okay because they're all right. They're on the plantation getting them a sip of the tea, a sip of the wine, and they're being treated. And some of us, I'm letting the gloves off today. So if nobody don't like the presentation, you don't like it, you're new to the channel, you can go away. I'm letting the gloves off today. You've got black folks like this who hold us back. See, these black folks feel comfortable. And you see Obama in the corner. He deserves to be in the damn corner because he's the same one who told black people to stop complaining. He was the same one that went to Morehouse College during that graduation and had the audacity to tell graduates, black graduates at Morehouse, you can't be complaining. And who said they were complaining? They graduated from school. They done everything that American society says that we should do. Get an education, go to school, pull your pants up. Don't have pants below your belt like you're having a bowel movement. Black folks have done everything we're supposed to do. They try to make the minimum and make it the maximum and say, well, the black folks that are out here shooting each other, harming each other, they are the maximum of black society. No, they're not. They're the minimum. Hell, white folks do more crime in this country than anybody. I'm laying out the argument here. Racism is as much as mom's apple pie with the American flag. It's just as American as apple pie and a damn flag. You had Colin Kaepernick, who just took a knee. He caught all kind of hell for taking a knee because of what the flag represented. The Star Spangled Flag, the song at the national anthem made by the racist Scott Key, was a song really about killing black folks, keeping the Union together and killing black people. When you hear the third stanza, which you notice they never play that third stanza at the football games. No black person should be standing up for that song because that song was written by a racist. Talk about America is not a racist country. The song was written by a racist. The projection of the energy of that song was about killing black folks. Then they want to tell you Let's hear one of our buck dancers. Let's hear him. Let's hear him right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear the buck dancer himself.
They were inferior. Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture.
Let's stop that nonsense right there. He's talking about white people, because what's been going on in schools and educational lately is that you have people teaching racial theory, right? So you have people doing sensitivity training or teaching white folks and other groups about the history of America that nobody wants to address, which is the negative side of the history of America. And so now if you're teaching white folks what their ancestors have done and what they continue to do today in some cases, then now you're being racial towards the dominant group in society that's controlling everything. Hang on for a minute, folks. Controlling everything, like Neely Fuller Jr. says: politics, sex, religion, war, labor, economics, controlling all things. And now you want to say because we display the history of what they've done to us, we examine it, and people are teaching racial theory and what is happening, that you can't do that because that makes you a reverse racism. Racism is about power, economic power, and control of the narrative of society and its institutions, which black people don't control. So therefore you can be prejudiced, which means you have a way that you see other people. But racism is about power. And if black people are simply saying, this is the history, we can't get away from it. I'm going to show you some video history tonight. You got Negroes like Tim Scott, who wants to say that that's making white folks or other groups, you're calling them a racist because of the color of their skin. And then you'll have white people, when I was in college, that will say, well, that was a long time ago. I didn't do anything. Well, how am I at fault for that? You benefit from it. You benefit from it economically, socially, and politically, and you've done nothing to change it. So you benefit from it. Therefore, you need to hear the goddamn truth.
Tell the truth.
Let's hear the rest of this mouthpiece.
People are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all.
Nobody said that we weren't making progress in certain areas, Tim Scott. But see, this is the funny thing about it, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why the Republican Party put Tim Scott out here like this to talk, because he can say everything that they really want to say without being called racist, because you put it in a black face. Tim Scott is a white man in black face talking to you. So they always use their black conservatives to push these narratives. But check this out. Check this out. Why is it that the Republican Party is not pushing him to run for president? How many so-called black conservatives have been pushed to the forefront to be the leader of the RNC, to be the leader of the party, to be running for president and higher power and control within that Congress, within that Senate? No, he's their one Negro token. A token is the value in which the person that gives you that token, like a token that you drive on a bus or you take a train ride, the person that gives you the token, ladies and gentlemen, is the one that puts the value on that token. That token is only valued by the person who chose that token. And when that token no longer has a useful use to the system, that token must be gotten rid of, but must be released. Right now, he's irrelevant. He's relevant to them right now because he's willing to do their bidding. Okay. Now, Michael Steele, who used to be a black Republican, or he got out of it, he at one point in time was the president or the leader of the RNC. And what did they do? They simply got rid of him because he wanted to be his own man, his own person. He didn't want to buck dance anymore. And so they got rid of him. You don't even hear anything about Michael Steele. But now Tim Scott is the newest, brand new, Mr. Clean mouthpiece for them.
By doubling down on the divisions we've worked so hard to heal. You know this stuff is wrong. Hear me clearly.
No, my man.
Is
No,
not.
no. We're not healed because America has not given black people proper reparations that is due to us as you gave to other people. Now, people said, well, you know, the Japanese were put in internment camps, and so they were given a reparation because they could identify their people that were in those camps. Guess what? One of the things that they don't tell you about is Devil's Punch Bowl. They were black concentration camps, just like Nazi-style camps in America, in this country. Oh, I got footage for you, God damn it. This is the Information Man
Tell the
show.
truth.
Is not a racist country. It's backwards to fight discrimination.
Let's hear the bullshit again.
Country. It is not a racist country. America is not a racist country. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
My God, the man is
It's
crazy.
backwards to fight discrimination
The man
with
is
different
crazy.
types of discrimination. And it's wrong to try to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present.
He's crazy. He's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Just pure crazy. It's craziness. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see who's in the chat room before I go to my videos. We got RY in the chat room. We got Big Dog, Philly, OG in the house. Victorious is in the house. Victorious, Shy is in the house. Thank you for being here, my sister. We got Back to the Basics. We've got Golden. Melanin is in the house. Good to see you back in the house once more, sister. We got Club. Hey, what's going on, Club? Is there any such thing as reverse racism? Isn't that a myth? Yes, that is a myth because you got to have power, Club. Everybody check out Club's channel. She has a great channel. If you want information on how to improve your YouTube channel and tips and everything like that, definitely check her out. We got Natural in the house. We got Full Circle in the house. Tiffany Jackson in the house. I probably missed some people because I'm focusing on the presentation. We got Zone in the house. We got my man Zone in the house. Tiffany Jackson. Everybody that's come in. We got Drop Action. Big Faxer. Big Fax 614. Thank you for coming over. And I'm just looking to see because there's people I probably didn't get a chance to see what they wrote. We got DOD in the house. We got very good people in the house. I got to say peace to everybody in the house out there. And then there's somebody else that's in the house, and that is Natural Way. Natural Way, Sister Natural Way. We got Sosa. We got the African Superstar. We got a lot of great people that have come into the house. We're going at 70. We'll see how far it goes. I was supposed to go on a little bit earlier, but I'm here now. That's what counts. That's what matters because I've got the best audience on YouTube can offer. I got great people here. Do me a big favor. One of the things that you can do for this program today is I want you to share the video, right? Like the video if you haven't liked the video, okay? And I want to say thank you again to everybody out there. Definitely, if you can, subscribe to the show. Definitely subscribe. Share the video in all your social media. If you're a content creator, put this in your community tab right now. I mean right now, so that we can get more people over here that can hear this. I've got some videos. I got some audio that I need to play you. And what I want to say, this is what's the most embarrassing one right here. Now, after Tim Scott said this, okay, now we've got your media darling, Kamala Harris, who got elected to office, 93% by black women in this country. 86% of black men voted Biden and Kamala Harris into the presidency. And I remember Kamala Harris a while back said that she wasn't just going to do something for black people. No, I'm not going to do something just for black people. I mean, let me give y'all a reminder of this if y'all have forgotten.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
And that's what she said. And make sure you subscribe again, as I said, ladies and gentlemen. That's what she said. That's what she meant. She meant what she said. And she did make effort to put to the forefront, her and Joe Biden, that when they got into office, that the first thing they were going to do was work on DACA. They were going to work on immigrant issues and what have you, right? But then you had Joe Biden pushing this whole racial justice. We're gonna shut down some of these prisons. We're gonna do something about these federal prisons when black people are actually in state prisons more than we are in federal prisons. But that's a nuttenburger what he did, because it didn't really benefit black people that were in state prisons. Everything in state prisons are status quo. Nothing has changed. And so I had to give you a little bit of what she said there, because Kamala Harris is not being an honest broker here. Here's a woman who is of East Indian ancestry, and then she's black or of Jamaican ancestry. And given whatever day of the week it is, she's either black one week or she's Asian. They can't make up their mind what this woman is. But when it comes to the black stuff, then they'll throw her on that. Now, she says that she agreed with Tim Scott that America is not a racist country. But this is a woman who, during the Democratic primary, when they were trying to see who was going to run for president, this is the woman that jumped all over Joe Biden and said that Joe Biden's policies were racist because she was that little girl who got bused to a school in Berkeley, even though she lied, because Berkeley is one of the most liberal, quote unquote, cities in America. I know, I used to work in Berkeley. They got schools named after Malcolm X in Berkeley, right? She tried to say that she was bused over there because of the result of his racism at the time with the busing. And wait a minute, Berkeley was already integrated with other races of people. It's been an integrated city for years when she was bused to the school over there. So she wasn't an honest broker, and she's not even being honest with us, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the issue of whether America is a racist country or not. Now, I know why she couldn't say this, because she's a politician. She has to make everybody feel good and fuzzy all over. Make everybody feel good and feel fuzzy. She can't tell the truth. And if you can't tell the truth, that shows me that you ain't got no real power, because power
tell the truth
is the ability to tell the truth and be honest with those that you serve. Let's hear it right now.
Senator Tim Scott said last night that America is not a racist country. Do you agree with that? And what do you make of his warning against fighting discrimination with more discrimination?
I believe that we need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country, but we also do have to speak truth about the history of racism in our country and its existence today. And I applaud the president for always having the ability and the courage, frankly, to speak the truth about it. He spoke what we know from the intelligence community. One of the greatest threats to our national security is domestic terrorism, manifested by white supremacists. And so these are issues that we...
See, I got to stop that right there. This is the problem I'm having. If America was not a racist country in the year 2021, then why are we still fighting white supremacist organizations? Why is it that I gotta drop a bomb on you, everybody in the chat room, everybody that's in the chat room? I thank you for being here. I see dark chocolate in the house, golden melanin. Hey, everybody, DMD is in the house. If I can't name everybody, it's not because I don't respect the fact that you came into this chat room today and that those of you out there are watching. It's just that I got to stay on point. I got so much material to show you all before I conclude today that will make my point. I haven't even gotten to it yet. But here, I got to break this down. Why is it that the Ku Klux Klan today still exists and they have a non-profit 501c or 503c? Somebody in the chat room, if I'm saying that code wrong, just put it in the chat room and correct it. They've got a 503c non-profit status. How does a white supremacist organization have a non a nonprofit status? And why is it that the Black Panther Party is not in existence? They tell you that the Black Panthers had to be neutralized because they were militant. No, they got rid of the Black Panthers not because of their militancy. They got rid of them because they were doing health, education, they were giving medicines, and they were helping our people with food, nutrition, educating our children. That's what made the Black Panther Party dangerous. Not the militancy, not the guns and the beret hats and the leather jackets. No, they were concerned about what they were doing on the ground level to keep things in check in the community. They were the ones that were keeping the drug dealers in check. So they had to get the Black Panther Party out of the pocket. They had to get them out of the paint so that they could put people like this in the paint, people who sell us out like this. I got to show you this. It's no doubt but the truth. So they had to bring these kind of people in, right? Put them in the paint, put them out there. So they have these kind of black folks that you see on the screen here. They promote them to give the black narrative when none of these folks are in our best interest. And unlike we have done a disservice to ourselves, because when you look at the Haitian Revolution, they were able to get rid of their sellouts. They got rid of them quickly. They eliminated them and they punished them. The problem with us as black people in America is that we do not punish and hold to the fire to the table, to the fire to the carpet. We don't hold our sellouts, people who go against the code. We don't hold them accountable. And so that's why Candace Owens, okay, a Brandon Tatum on YouTube. I'm calling you out too. Yes, I'm calling you out too, Negro. You can come for me. I don't care. That's why those type of individuals that you see on YouTube and off of YouTube, that's why they thrive. That's why channels that traffic in bull crap on black YouTube, those channels will stay afloat. A channel like mine that's here to teach you, educate, and empower my people, oh, they'll keep me in shadow ban. They'll make sure my numbers don't look as much. You may see 72 right now watching, but I can end this right now, and it's probably 500 to 600 people that were actually watching me right now. But they don't want you to see those numbers because they don't want you to see how significant the channel is to the community on these social media. Okay, so you got her saying all this nonsense about, well, if America is not a racist country, these groups would not be existing. They would not be functioning. You wouldn't have all these white nationalist groups. You wouldn't have the FBI saying that the most dangerous groups in America right now are these white nationalist groups. You wouldn't have any of these groups able to function. All of a sudden now they want to examine them. You look at all black organizations like the MOVE organization in Philadelphia, where they put a bomb on them and burn them out. You put a bomb on me. Those organizations, they're gone, finito, don't exist. Every time you turn around, they're putting people to plot against us. Let's hear the rest of this nonsense.
We must confront, and it does not help to heal our country, to unify us as a people, to ignore the realities of that. And I think the president has been outstanding and a real national leader.
Bullshit. He has not been a national leader. Ooh, see, Kamala, you just playing the cornbread game here. No, he's not been a national leader. Let me show you what he's been involved in prior to this kind of stuff. He's not a national leader. Look at this picture right here. This is truth. This is a picture of Joe Biden with Senator Strom Thurmond, Joe Biden doing a hearing in 1986, right? And remember, he put together that crime bill. Guess who he crafted that crime bill that affected black men? Put your uncle, your father, your brothers, your sisters in prison with some BS. He crafted the crime bill with this man, Strom Thurmond, a original Dixiecrat racist, who, by the way, fathered a black child, illegitimate black child that he'd never acknowledged. He was giving her money secretly. Didn't want anyone to know about that. So that once again shows you that you can still be a racist and still want that butane, okay? Still want that black booty, but you'll still maintain your racism. So I don't want to hear anybody saying, well, you know, you can't be, if he got a child if he has a child with a black woman or a black son or a black daughter, that don't mean he racist. There were plenty of these individuals like Strom Thurmond who had babies with black women and were still executing the racism and white supremacy. And Joe Biden was buddy with him. Oh, a whole bunch more. A whole bunch more. And you've got Kamala Harris setting up here. Kamala Harris responds to the GOP Senator that America is not a racist country. She said this on Good Morning America, major network. Harris noted that the intelligent leaders have warned that white supremacist domestic terrorists is a leading threat to United States nation security. So if they are a leading threat to United States security, why would that make America not a racist country? If America was not a racist country, they would not be infestating these type of groups, would not be able to function still. Here we are in 2021 and they're still talking about these groups because they haven't done anything to neutralize them. While black men die like this, let me show you something. While black men die in these ways, we die by police shooting us with guns in this racist environment that we live in, because they think that we die if we have a sandwich in our hand. We die if we have a cell phone in our hand, ladies and gentlemen. We die if we got Skittles in our hand. And we die by a gun that the police tell us, but it was a taser I thought I shot him with or her with, but it was a taser. This is how they do us. Now they tell us in America, Joe Biden, she says Joe Biden's done so much to fight against this. And Joe Biden is the same Joe Biden in 1972 that said he was concerned that his family would be in a racial jungle, that his family would be put in a racial jungle.
Tell the truth.
And he said, lock them up. Check this out. There are 2 storylines about Joe Biden's long Senate record that are potentially dangerous for him and that he could threaten his current strong support among African Americans. Well, we had Clyburn and black folks in South Carolina. And we got some black folks that are willing to forgive his past transactions, not realizing that his past transactions still affect us today. And for those of you out there, because I know you're going to have someone out there who thinks that I'm a Donald Trump fan, you got one thing coming to you. I don't like Donald Trump either because he's a part of the same clan as well. And I'm going to show you a picture of the symbolism I've been telling you. And Donald Trump was showing that symbolism as well. African Americans, one involving his friendship with segregationists in the Senate, notably James Eastland, Strom Thurmond, and Herman Telliston, which he cannot seem to stop talking about. And the other is his responsibility for policies that have led to the mass incarceration, including the landmark 1994 crime bill. I had to bring that up. I know some of you out there are tired of hearing about that, but I had to put this on the screen because Kamala Harris is talking about how he's been such a national leader when it comes to fighting against white supremacy, when he crafted the crime bill with white supremacists against us. And that's going on. And he is yet to put out an executive order for something that benefits black people specifically. Let's hear her rhetoric right here.
Our country to unify us as a people, to ignore the realities of that. And I think the president has been outstanding and a real national leader on the issue of saying, let's confront the realities and let's deal with it, knowing we all have so much more in common than what separates us.
All right. He hasn't done, he hasn't done anything to deal with it, folks. He hasn't done anything to deal with it. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. Joe Biden hasn't done anything to deal with it because where is the executive order? We already have an executive. They already passed the executive order, and they also passed it with only one person in the Republican Senate, the Republicans. Only one person voted against the anti-Asian crime bill, right? Where is the anti-black crime bill, Joe Biden? Where is that at? Where is that at? Let me put some data on the screen for everybody. I'm sick of playing around with folks. This is what's been going on with black people. This is going all the way back to 1995, and we know that this has been happening to us even before this. Since 1995, black Americans have been targeted in 54.6% of all hate crimes reported to the FBI, despite making up only about 13.2% of the country's population. Furthermore, only about 12% of the nation's police departments report any hate crimes. You know why? They didn't listen. When black people tell police that they're being treated poorly because it's a hate crime against them, the police laugh and giggle and do not report it as such. That's why over the years, this is prior to all this, all this Asian hate crime stuff today, this has been going on toward us for over 400 years. So you got 12% of the nation's police departments report any hate crime to the FBI in 2015 and 2016. Okay, let me go back over here and take this right off so you can see what I'm talking about. A News 21 analysis of the hate crime reported that the FBI from 2012-2016 determined that on an average, 16.6 million black Americans, or 39.5% of the country's black population, live in a county that reported no anti-black hate crime in a given year. And the reason why is that many victims told the News 21 that the authorities were skeptical of their calm and their need to record hateful incidents for police to believe them. Okay, so when black people have reported to the police departments in this country that we were a victim of hate crime, nobody gave a damn. There was no urgency brought to it. There's been no crime bill signed for us, right? And you all heard this recently on the Breakfast Club. Now, let's go over here. I got something juicy for you. Let's put this up right here. You see, I want everybody to look at your screen very carefully. This is the number. This is the latest FBI statistics. And if you think I'm lying, watch what I do right here. Look at that, everybody. Look at that. Look at that. 2019 hate crime statistics, FBI. I'm using the G-Men statistic because, you know, nobody believes what we say when we say it, but maybe they'll believe when the FBI says it. Well, let me just break it down to you. This is the numbers. Anti-black or African-American hate crime is at 2,000. It was at 2,314. Asians, in 2019, they were at 205. This year, because of the virus and because people are blaming them for the virus, they were the hate crime towards them went up into the hundreds. But black people overall, we are still the most hated in this society. The most hate crime has been put towards us. Where is the anti-black hate crime bill? Where is it?
Tell the truth.
Where is the anti-hate crime bill for black people? Where is it at? Can somebody in the chat room tell me? Where's the we got my man Black Outcast Media Broadcasting who super chatted me. He says all of America's pets are going to parrot the white folks, the white party's line, forget them and do work. Right. I agree with you that but I'm bringing this up for a specific reason because as you can see on the screen, this is FBI statistics again. As you look on the screen very closely, we're in the year 2021. Black people still have more hate crime towards us than even the Asian population. I'm not saying that the Asians didn't get any distreatment towards them by people. It happened, right? But then I still wonder about all those black men in New York who all had the same color on. They all were wearing these red and orangey colors. And Tariq talked about how sometimes they will put plants out there on the street to create havoc, to make it look like we're doing something, and the police can recognize that they're a plant or that they're an agent because they wear a certain color a certain thing that lets them know, okay, he's one of our plants. He's one of our, he's one of our chosen Negroes that will do our bidding. So it makes me wonder about that. But the question is, if black people have been catching this kind of hell as it relates to crime, why didn't the Obama administration do anything to help us? Okay, why didn't the Obama administration do more? Why is it that there is no anti-black hate crime bill? This is because America is a racist country. When it comes to black people, there's no love for us. Now look at this. I said something about Obama. Let me show you something. Boom, right here. Let me show you something. Here's Obama. Let me enlarge this. I want people to see this and see this very well. Obama signed a blue alert law to protect police. How many of you all forgot about that? That Obama, you're wondering why he's on that picture that I showed y'all. Obama signed a blue alert law to protect police. Let's read a little bit of this. Let me enlarge it. You understand what I'm saying here? Do you understand? You understand what I'm saying? If everybody understands what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the chat room. President Obama signed a referendum, signed a bill on Rafael Ramos. Remember, there was a police officer. And a Asian police officer. There was about 2 or 3 police officers. I think it was 2 of them that were shot in New York. And after that happened, he signed the bill to protect the police. So President Obama signed a Rafael Ramos and Lee National Blue Alert Act of 2015 in the overall office of the White House Tuesday. The act, named after 2 police officers who were killed in New York, were assisted in the National Blue Alert system to apparent violence crimes who have injured or killed police officers who have made immunity or credible threats to cause serious injury or death to a law enforcement officer. That's what Obama did. This is what Obama did. This is the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
That's what Obama did. I want everybody to look at that for yourself, because I know somebody's going to say that I'm making up stuff, that I'm not being honest. I'm not being an honest broker when I am being an honest broker. See, over here, you're going to get the information. You're going to get the data. So I wonder how many of you all remember that Obama did that. How many of y'all who love Obama, okay, and will criticize black folks who have a criticism for his administration and for Obama, how many of y'all remember that he signed that bill just as quick as day? And the reason why I'm bringing this up, ladies and gentlemen, is because under Obama's leadership, many black men were killed by cops. Aaron Gardner was killed. There were many black men under his leadership that were killed by cops. And you didn't see Obama come out once and come up with a bill or an executive order to say enough is enough. We got to stop cops from killing black men and black women. Where was his bill? Where was his alert? He gave an alert law to protect police in New York who got killed. But where was the protection for black people when we've got black people, going back to the FBI statistics that I talked about, we got black folks, here we go again, who under anti-hate crime, we were being killed, but we were being hit by hate crime at 2,314. This is the latest numbers from 2019 FBI, and Asians were at 205. But nevertheless, Joe Biden I got to just keep it real. Nevertheless, stop Asian crime, right? So what they did, let me fix this. There we have it. There we go. Now let me pull that in for you to see a little bit further in. Right here, Senate unanimously passed a bill. Well, not unanimously. There was one Republican who didn't agree with it. But the Senate passed a bill to target anti-Asian hate crime. The bipartisan vote was the first legislation action either chamber of the Congress has taken to do what? To enforce the rise of anti-Asian American crime on Asian American communities, hate crime towards Asian Americans. Let me ask you a question. Why is it that the George Floyd bill hasn't been passed yet, right? The George Floyd Act. Why is it that the Republican Party, nobody wants to vote that in anonymous, completely? Why hasn't that been passed? Why? Why? Somebody answer that. Why hasn't that not been passed? Why? Why? Why hasn't that not been enacted as law? I want to know why. Since America is not a racist country, since America is a righteous country where racism is not as bad as it was in the past, right? Let me show you a picture of, look at this with, look at this picture here. I'm going to show you something. Right there. And let me do something because I got to make sure you can see it. You see right there, Donald Trump has the 3%, which is a white nationalist symbolism. He puts the 3% fingers up. And there go old George Wallace, who tried to run for presidency. This white supremacy is a culture. It is a religion, as Neely Fuller Jr. says. It is embedded in American society. And that's why America is not a non-racist society. It's just that racism takes on different shapes given the decade and the years that we're in. It's institutionalized. It's embedded in the culture. When you go into your wallet and you take your money out, black people, every day when we take our money out of our wallet, we have to look at men who owned slaves. George Washington, right? We have to look at people on the dollar bill who represent that racism of American society. It's in all the culture. So you got old Governor Wallace who wanted to be president. He got the 3% symbol up. Okay, for some of you black folks out there that love Donald Trump and say, well, Donald Trump ain't never done anything to black people. Yes, he has. He was discriminatory towards black people in his housing in New York. He didn't want black people doing his economic books. He was racial towards the Central Park Five. There he is putting up that symbol. Now, I tried to tell you all about this symbol because nobody wants to listen to me, but here's an example of it right here. Boom. That's that 3% symbol, which comes out of this right here. Let me show you something as well. There. So whenever you see that symbol, as I've told you before, ladies and gentlemen, that's the white nationalist symbol. They say it's about state rights. It's about having the guns, keeping your government accountable. That's what they tell you, right? Right. But that symbolism of white supremacy is something that has been a detriment to our society because it's something that has led to this. You see this picture right here? This is a black woman who was hung in the South. This is what they were doing in the South to us. This is what they did to black men. Look at this one too. That was a woman as a black man hanging. I know this is very difficult to look at. This is very difficult, right? They're doing the same thing to us today with police killing us. Look at all these different faces of black men and women who were taken out of here by cops.
Tell the truth.
Look at those faces. This is the recent photo of or mural of George Floyd that someone put this word on. So racism still exists. It goes all the way back to minstrel shows and caricatures like this. Remember that caricature? That stuff still exists today. It's just plays itself out in a different way. It plays itself out in buffoon television shows. It plays itself out in what we see with Lil Nas X and these rappers and all these folks that are willing to do anything they want to do to sell themselves out, their family, their community, whoever, just for the buck, for the dollar, for the money, whatever looks good for the time being. All right. Truth must be told, ladies and gentlemen. Truth must be told tonight. I appreciate everybody coming over. Share this video in your social media. Now, some people are going to say, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm speaking truth. Some people are going to say, well, yeah, you're talking about what happened in the past, info. Everything is better now. Our kids are living better. We got better opportunity. Yeah, we're not living in shackle slavery anymore. Right, folks? We're not living like that. Check out my social media. You can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check that out too as well. Okay? Make sure you subscribe to the program. I definitely appreciate it. Okay? And comment and everything like that. So, yeah, you can say that. But things have not really changed, because I'm going to show you a recent article in the Washington Post where they surveyed young black children as it relates to racism and as it relates to these were young black people, teenagers and such like that, as it relates to racism and what happened to George Floyd. Let me show you this right here. And once I got to show this again because people need to see this. This is what they did to us in the past. I've got more stuff for you to see. Okay. Right here, I want you to look at this. These were the massacres all across America that took place, ladies. I know this is not a pleasant stream in terms of it's going to make you feel fuzzy. It's going to make you feel loved all inside. I'm not trying to think anybody feel love. I'm trying to let you see the facts. Pick a massacre. Chicago, 1919. East St. Louis, 1917. Memphis. We always talk about Black Wall Street and Rosewood, but how many of you heard about the St. Bernard Parish? New Orleans, 1866. How about the Charleston, 2015? Detroit, 1943. New York had a massacre in 1863 where they tried to massacre black people. Washington, 1919. Philadelphia, there was a massacre in 1985. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. We know what that one is. Ellen, 1999. Memphis had 118. Look at that chart. These are massacres, and these are just a few. I ain't even touched on all of them. These are just a few of the massacres that took place in this country. And we know that in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they bombed black people from airplanes. You had ex-military white men who bombed their community because they were doing better economically than the white folks at that time. And they were jealous. So they had to push forth what America has always been built off of, which is racism, which equals white supremacy, because black people, we're not in a power position to execute these things. And people will tell you, well, you know, there's reverse racism, man. No, there's no such thing as reverse racism, because for example, I can say I don't like a white person or Asian person or Latino person or any other race, right? But I don't have any power to keep them out of housing, to keep them out of education, to keep them out of getting bank loans or anything like that. I have no power to keep them out of leveling up their ability to survive and make it in society. Don't have that power, because black people do not control the institutions of banking, military, economics, labor, religion. We don't control any institutions in this country that represent power. We don't control the media. We don't control any of these things. And so therefore, racism, white supremacy is about power and your ability to execute not only the fact that you don't like somebody, but now you can make their life miserable by coming up with laws and institutionalized systems. I know we had the Civil Rights Bill, but check this out. If America wasn't a racist country, we wouldn't need all these laws and bills in the first place to give us the protections under the law and give us our rights, right? 54% of black people who have existing businesses, and I've said this before, they can't get a loan to expand their business. They get turned down at 54% in the institutional racism of this country. White people only get turned down at 24% in this country. Black people at a higher number. Black people are treated poorly when it comes to our health care, our pain threshold, when it comes to pain medicines, the way we're treated in health and work and labor issues. Oh my God. So this talk about, oh, America's not a racist country is such bull crap. Let me put this article up here just to let you see this real quick, ladies and gentlemen, real quick. And let me put this up here. Boom. Right here. You see the article right there. What students are saying about race and racism in America. We invite teenagers to join and moderate discussion about racial equality. Check this out. I want people, you see this article I've got hovering around here? I want people to look this article up. I think this is either in the Washington Post or New York Times. But if you put that title in, what students are saying about race and racism, I read through the article. Almost every black student, teenager and younger said that they have experienced discrimination, racism in school, racism in their environment. And they said that when George Floyd was killed in the way he was killed, it also gave them another wake-up call as to what's going on, okay, in this society, in this world, okay? So I just want to let you all know that. Now, remember this situation here. Boom. Look at that on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Florida police caught using mug shots of black men for target practice. Remember this? This is not something that happened 100 years ago. This was recent. Now you wonder why police shoot black people indiscriminately. They kill us like they do because they're doing target practice on us like this. Okay, everybody, they're doing target practice. Let me show you a video. And here we go. Hang on in just a moment. I'm going to put this video on and let you see this. A short video that talks about this situation. And here we go.
Of black men for target practice. Investigative reporter Willard Shepard of our NBC station in South Florida, WTVJ, has the story. I was like, why is my brother being used for target practice?
It was here on the Medley Range last month when the targets were used in training for North Miami Beach Police Department snipers. Shooting range records show that after the police left, the Florida National Guard came in. That's when the guardsmen saw what police had left behind.
They were all black males.
Among the photos, her brother Woody's mugshot, taken 15 years ago.
There were like gunshots there. And like, I cried a couple times.
When she said, oh my God, they use you as target practice. The picture actually has like, bullet holes in, one in my forehead and one in my eye. I was speechless.
Deant did 4 years in prison after being involved in a drag race back in 2000 that left 2 people dead.
Now I'm being used as a target and I'm not even living that life according to how they portrayed me as, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a career man, I work a 9 to 5.
North Miami Beach Police Chief J. Scott Dennis defends the department's use of actual photographs, saying the technique is widely used and the pictures are vital to facial recognition drills.
Our policies were not violated. There is no discipline that's forthcoming from the individuals regarding this.
The chief says the fact that the targets were all African American did not mean there was any racial profiling.
As we utilize an array of pictures, and we'll have 6 pictures of people that look very similar. We have.
So you hear there that none of those police officers that were using black men as target practice, none of them got any disciplinarian or anything like that. They got away with this. This is how you create a narrative that puts in the mind and reinforces continuously within a white supremacist system that we're in, that black men, black people are animals. And then you wonder why black men are always the ones getting shot. Black men are shot 3 times more often compared to white men who have guns when we are unarmed. And you see why this continues to go on.
An array for black males. We have an array of white and Hispanic males.
However, he says he is disturbed by the use of this particular photo.
So he says he's disturbed, but he didn't say at the end of that video, he never said what he was prepared to do about it, ladies and gentlemen. What I want to do now is go into my video presentation. These will be small clip videos that you will get a lot out of, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you all for being over here. Peace to you, Tiffany Jackson, Ms. Thompson, R.Y., Earl Owens is in the house. The Life of King Wage is in the house. Wendell is in the house. Lady Legs 75, thank you for coming over and being a part of the family. There you go. Peggy Rosters come over to be a part of the family as well. Thank you, everybody out there. Let me show you something that will wake up your eyes. Now, Van Jones said this about, check this out.
But he lost a lot of African Americans by the tens of millions when he said America is not a racist nation. Look, you can say that we're getting better. You can say that we've come a long way. But when you look at these numbers, when you look at these statistics, it is very clear that this country is still struggling with racism. We still have racism showing up in almost every institution. So I thought he did himself a disservice by jumping, that shark unnecessarily. That said, there's a reason they put him up. He's the best they've got. He can give that message. He can talk about all. He can try to polish up all of the Republican nonsense without the sharp edges, better than the rest of them. What's amazing to me is how different he sounds from all the.
No, Van Jones. Yes, they put him up because he's their puppet. He can push the narrative that they can't say without being called a racist. So he's a token, and they're using him for what he's worth to them right now. But I bet you they won't run him for president. Oh no, they're going to use Tim Scott. He's going to be used as a tool and a fool. And that's how it's been for a long time. They use us. They use individuals like him to talk about us. And then they can hide behind the racism of that because a black man said a few things that they figure that we can't argue it down because it came from him, a so-called. So let me show you something that I think is unbelievable, folks. And I got to give you the breaking news. Here it goes.
Catherine and Beulah. What happened to your foot, Jerome?
Dug a nail in out there by the wash house.
So you drove a nail in out by the wash house. What did your mother do for that?
She put some alcohol on it.
Where do you sleep, Jerome?
In this bed.
You have this big bed?
Yes.
What happened? How did you get that hole in that bed there, Jerome?
The rats.
The what?
Rats.
Now, Jerome, you are taking care of Kathy, of Beulah, and Lois.
Yes.
Now, are you going to give them lunch today?
Yes.
What are you going to feed them?
I don't know.
Do you have any food here to give them?
Yes.
I see. What time does your mother come home?
I don't know.
The following day, Aline King, the mother of Jerome, Kathy, Lois, and Beulah, again was picking beans.
Aileen King, I saw your children yesterday at the Okeechobee camp. Why didn't you put them in the nursery?
I don't make enough to pay for it.
How much does it cost to put them in?
85 cents.
85 cents.
That's right.
Aileen, what time did you come out the field this morning?
6 o'clock.
What time would you get home?
About 3:30, 4 o'clock.
6 this morning to 4 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
How much did you earn?
$1.
$1?
That's right. $1.
Is that because the beans were of poor quality?
That's right.
Has this happened before?
That's right.
How much will your food cost you today?
About $2.
Aileen, how old are you?
29.
How many children do you have?
14.
How old were you when you first started working in the fields?
8.
You've been working 21 years in the fields?
That's right.
Aileen, do you ever think you'll be able to get out of this kind of work?
No, sir.
All the migrants travel fourth class. If there is a privileged class, they ride in their own jalopy, in the best Jode family tradition.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What that was there was a concentration camp. Black people lived. There were situations where black people were in concentration camps in this country. And they tell you and me that, oh, we don't deserve any reparations. You gave reparations to the Japanese. And they put the Japanese in concentration camp because they were at war and they deemed the Japanese the enemy. Black folks were here every goddamn since and built this country before they even were here. And they put us in concentration camps, which they don't tell you anything about. A lot of people don't even know that. Like Devil's Pitch Bowl. Devil's Pitch Bowl. They took Devil Pitch Bowl out of history. They didn't want anybody to know about this. How many of you heard of Devil's Pitch Bowl? Devil's Pitch Bowl, an American concentration camp. So horrifying, it was erased from history. Boy, let's listen.
Because as commodities, they were considered contraband by Union troops who had no qualms about perpetrating slavery for their own benefit. 3 such camps existed in the Devil's Punch Bowl area of Natchez. A massive exodus of former slaves from southern plantations trekked northward in hopes of reaching a location of true freedom. But embittered soldiers, resentful that the people considered property were now free, had other plans. Researcher Paula Westbrook, who has extensively studied Devil's Punch Bowl, noted, when the slaves were released from the plantations during the occupation, they overran Natchez, and the population went from about 10,000 to 120,000 overnight. Unable to grapple with an instant population swell.
I want everybody in the chat room that's in the chat room right now, hear me out. Have you ever heard of Devil's Punch Bowl and the history behind it? That's what you're hearing on this illustration. The other video that I showed you was another example of a black concentration camp, even after this period of time, meaning we're talking about from that video that I showed you with the kids talking, that's like, you know, the 50s, things of that nature. We're talking the 50s, but this happened. The Devil's Punch Bowl happened way before that, during slavery, but even after black people came out of slavery more. Devil's Punch Bowl was a situation is that after the Civil War, black people were freed and Union soldiers weren't happy about that. And they took the freed black people and pushed them into a concentration camp where I'm going to let it speak for itself, ladies and gentlemen. If you have heard of Devil's Punch Bowl in this history, I need you to push a 1 in the chat room saying you know of it. Peace to George Macomb Experience. My brother, I do have the video that I'll be producing very soon promoting the Urban Nerds Worldwide organization that Brother George Macomb is involved in, with working with youth, introducing them to science, math, getting them out of the community. He is doing heavy mentorship with his program, and I'm going to be doing a complete video about that where people can donate and donate. And his organization is tax. You get a tax benefit from it as well. So Brother George has come over. So a lot of people in the chat rooms heard of this. Let me play it.
The city turned to Union troops still lingering after the war to devise a merciless, impenitent solution. So they decided to build an...
Let me say what's up to Wake the Hell Up. We've got Kevin in the house, DOD, George. Let me, that's my brother there. Let me mod you up there. All right, that's my brother George. Everybody that's in the chat room, everyone, peace to you for coming over. I really appreciate it. KV, RY, Golden Melanin, my man, Life of King Wage. I like that brother. Check out his channel. Shaka, all of you that are involved with this channel, I thank you for your support. Make sure you share this in your social media, in your community tab if you are a content creator. Let's go on.
Encampment forum at Devil's Punch Bowl, which they walled off and wouldn't let them out. Former director of Natchez City Cemetery, Don Estes explained. Devil's Punch Bowl is so named for a cavernous bowl-shaped gulch walled off by treetop cliffs. It was the perfect place in the heart of nature for the army to enslave people and carry out their regime of torture. The men were forced to undergo heavy labor throughout the day while the women and children were simply locked up behind the walls. Every slave man, woman, and child was starved and kept in the worst of hygiene conditions. The slaves died of torture by starvation and exhaustion. After the slaves were dead, the soldiers kept their bodies to rot inside the camps. They never cleared or buried the bodies. Instead, they provided inmates with shovels to bury their slave brothers and sisters inside the camp. They were told to bury them where...
We got my man Bob TV in the house. Everybody check out his channel. Give that brother support. That's my brother too. He says, yes, sir. A shame on this county. They also charged us with foolish crimes. Yes, they did, brother Bob TV. Thank you. Hey, everybody, check out my man Bob TV. Give me the biggest favor when you have a chance. Write his name down, Bob TV, and subscribe to his channel immediately. Give that brother support. That brother has been supporting me. Keep helping each other. We have to support each other because you're not going to get this, what I'm doing today. There's only a few channels on YouTube that's going to give you content like this. All right. You know that Tariq talks about this kind of stuff. You know that the Black Authority, Jason Black, talks about this kind of stuff, Professor Black, and people like my man Bob TV. There's many other people that talk, but we're a small number. If you really look at the bigger picture that get into these type of stuff. George Macomb talks about these kind of things as well.
Such conditions, along with the camp's location and climate of the region, contributed to the outbreak of several diseases that infected and killed the slaves. One of the major diseases contributing to the fatality was smallpox. Estes said of the concentration camp prisoners, they were begging to get out. Turn me loose and I'll go home back to the plantation, anywhere but there. Locals say human skeletons.
I want to stop that right there. And let me say what's up to Wake the Hell Up. That's my brother too. Wake the Hell Up. What's up, brother? Thank you for coming over to the channel and supporting. Been seeing you over here lately. I really appreciate that. Now, let me show you something right here. The reason why I stopped this right here, here's another little piece of history. The picture of this brother right here. This is the oldest known picture of a black man in slavery known to us in history today. Matter of fact, Harvard University was being sued by his ancestor because you got these grubby universities like Harvard, these Ivy League schools and these universities that use intellectual property like this, and they put them in their museums. They make money off of it. And one of his family members, I think it's a sister, she identified her lineage to this brother, and she's been fighting over the years. I think she might have won her fight, but she was fighting against the University of Harvard. If you didn't know this, on the Information Man show, you're going to get the goddamn information.
Tell the truth.
She had been fighting the university for years to get control of the intellectual properties, to get the original photographs that they've been benefiting off of economically. This brother right here is one of only a few actual real photographs that they have available close up in this image of a black man who was actually still in shackle slavery. And you got these grubby universities that have this kind of information behind their closed doors, making money off of it, a whole 9 yards. Just wanted to add that to this flavor.
Occasionally washed free from the location in times of heavy rains and flooding. Wild peach trees.
Right there, they would actually kill black people and let their bodies just rot out there. Play it again.
Back to the plantation, anywhere but there. Locals say human skeletons occasionally wash free from the location in times of heavy rains and flooding. Wild peach trees now dot the basin where human beings who believe they finally won freedom from slavery were tortured and died. And these peach trees are believed to be fertilized by their bodies. Like so much about the history of the United States, sadistic acts perpetrated by officials acting on behalf of the government have been deceitfully downplayed to lessen shame and facilitate collective memory loss. Whatever the full truth about Devil's Punch Bowl, it's a veritable guarantee no history book will be honest or thorough enough to shed light on the excruciating conditions similar to Nazi concentration camps. This is the Devil's Punch Bowl.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what it is. Devil's Punch Bowl. Devil's Punch Bowl. It looks to me like everybody was familiar with this history, so I really appreciate the fact that people know that, but this is another example of why we deserve reparations. There's too much history, and like I said, people are going to say, well, that's the way it was back then, but black people are better off today. Yeah, we are in a better condition than our ancestors were, but we still have issues that are still happening. I put an article on the screen earlier telling you it was how black children were being surveyed. And I put that article up there. I'll put it up there just one more time, where black children were being surveyed about what they experienced as it relates to racism. And our young people are still experiencing these realities. Okay. So nothing is foolproof. Of course, nothing is, we're not living in a utopia. We're not living in the way that our ancestors lived. We're living a hell of a lot better. I got to be honest. From that point of view, than our ancestors lived. They can only imagine where we are today, but we still have a lot more to go. Let me put this up here for those of you who might have super chatted me earlier. Here you go. Here go to super chat music and celebration.
Tell them run it all. I wake up. Thank you. I wake up, flex, thumb down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now.
RYDOD, what's up, brother? Thank you.
No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake
all right. Okay, I want to thank Brother DOD for coming through. He says, thanks for educating the people. Thank you, brother. And then we got, Joanne Swanfoot. That's my French sister. Check out her channel. She's from France. She's a black sister from France. And I want to thank her for coming over and giving me a super chat. I thank Black Outcast, he gave me a super chat of $5 earlier. So I want to thank him for coming over and super chatting me. We got Coogin87.
One false move, find yourself there getting buried. That's what the devil used to love playing.
All right. I appreciate that, everybody. I really do.
I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up.
All right. So I really appreciate that again. We got Coogin87. We got George is in the house still. Life with King Wage. We got Bob TV. Like I said, check that brother out. Thank you for the super chats, the cash apps. Oh, if I was cash app and I forgot anybody, let me check my phone. I have a habit of not looking at my phone like I should. If I got cash app, I want to thank everybody out there. Bob TV, I think you might have cash apped me, brother. I'm not sure, but I'll look and see what's going on here. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, definitely. And it should give me a breakdown of should give me a breakdown. Let me play a little bit of music. I'll be right back in just a moment. Yes. Okay, I gotta had to mute that. I had a little phone call that I had to answer. Let me get back to the presentation. And excuse me, folks. All right, excuse me, folks. Had a little phone call that came through. I had to answer that particular phone call, but I'm back, and I want to go back into the other area of the presentation. Thanks a lot, everybody that super chatted me, who might have cash at me. Definitely, I appreciate it. It definitely goes back into the program and what I'm doing here. We got back to the basics. Golden Melanin's in the house. We've got Max Nix in the house. Let me see. We got Mo Nix is in the house. Let me say peace to you as well. Sometimes when I'm bad with names, I'll say peace to them, peace to people in the chat room. Peace. And thank you for coming over. Let me get right back to the video presentation. So you saw the one video that I played there. Let me play a video that should remind you about one who's dear to my heart, Muhammad Ali.
My name is a white people, not Vietnam or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home. You my enemy. My name is a white people, not Vietnam or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
All right, let me stop it right there. So as you can see, Muhammad Ali made very good points. Why should I be? And remember, Muhammad Ali was punished for not obeying the system and going over there and fighting when he said it was against his religion. And why would I fight for a country that doesn't give a damn for me, give a damn about me? And let me be honest here. A lot of Vietnam veterans, black men, and a lot of them were Green Berets. They don't tell you that history about the Green Berets. They don't tell you the history about the Triple Nickel, which was an all-black parachute trooper, a group of black men who jumped out of the planes, came down. These are special forces. Black people have given a lot to this country to still be treated in the way that we have historically. And then we got Tim Scott and we got Kamala Harris sitting up here not being honest with the American people, particularly not being honest with black people. And I know why. They're politicians. They have to say everything to make it sound politically correct. Guess what? I'm not a politician. I can tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Now, let you listen to a couple of brothers that are in the military that were doing this was during Vietnam. This is video. And listen to how they were being treated when it came to them wearing an afro and being their own culture, being black and proud of it. Check out what they had to say here, ladies and gentlemen. And this is another breaking news segment.
It's illegal, they say. It's against regulation. They come down hard. We have to. All right, if you don't take it off before you come in the theater, you don't get in theater. You know, this is the way they do this thing. Right on. They said the afro was legal. Am I right or wrong? That's right. That's what they said. It was legal. We can sport the afro. All right. This man, there's a lot of brothers here. This man here's got an afro. This is an afro right here. Or somewhat of an afro. It's not big, no. But they want us to wear skin head. What they call it? High and tight. High and tight. It's not my culture. Am I right or wrong? They come over here. They get, all right, a Vietnamese girl. She called me a nigger. A nigga, a Vietnamese girl. I know it's not part of their language. Can't nobody tell me that's part of their language. But I'm going to go over here. The beast, you know that. See, we go over here. We fight. Okay, we fight to defend the water we drink, the land we grow our food on, and our way of culture. We also fight to protect Rockefeller,
Rockefeller's foundations. We fight to protect J.P. Kennedy's foundation. All these different kind of foundations that the black man can't partake of, you understand? And then we go back, we're continuously harass. It's not necessary. This ain't what we heard. This is what we know. See, we've seen it from the bird's eye point of view. We are the people here now, see? We see it now. This ain't what we heard, you know.
I know y'all haven't been out in the Ville. Now, just like you said, these people, these Oriental people don't know where the word nigga came from or nothing. They have to learn how to speak it. You go out there in that Ville. The first time I come over here, I goes out in the Ville, I falls into one of these places, and I'm thrown out because I'm black, you know? Because I'm black. They don't like us. They say we start trouble. Now who done put this stuff in their mind? You know what I mean? The bees came over here and brainwashed these people. We get out here and try to do our thing, and they wants to downrate us. Right on. Because we're black. Because the bees came over here and told them that we ain't nothing but trouble. Right because we got a strong rapper and they scared we're going to take the women away. Right.
Well, wait a minute. Let me tell you something about down south. Let's say down here in July this year right here, when the so-called the beast, this is what we call them because they act savage and barbarous like animals.
All right, there it is. That is the truth.
Information is power. Information Man, please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
I want to say again to the folks that super chatted me. And like I said, I say it again, folks. Excuse me. I had a phone call. I'm re-upping my stay where I'm at. And so I had to pick up that phone call, and I still had the mic on. I had to bring that mic off, but I appreciate you all being here. We got Rollo, who super chatted me. He's not super chatted me. He cash at me. So thank you for doing so, brother. And then we've got Robert Brown. That's my man of Bob's TV. Check him out as well. And check out Rollo as well. Check him out. He cash at me. So thank you. Then we have Leonardo, who's been supporting the channel pretty heavily, and I appreciate that. Leonardo, thank you out there. You super chatted me too as well, brother. I appreciate that. It does not go unappreciated because I put it back into the program and the quality of the show. And I've got more quality coming your way. Next time you probably see me live in the next few weeks or so, you're going to see even more crispier, even more better visual effect on the screen, even better than what you're looking at right now. So we're going to keep on improving what we're doing over here, but getting the information out that is vital. To everybody in the chat room, all but no more but respect to you, all but respect to you, everybody out there. We got LaShawn Thomas, who says, share the link to the, thank you, LaShawn. If I'm saying your name right, thank you, sister, for sharing it out. And I got a $9 super chat from Gordon. So let me go ahead and get into the super chat music. Zone. We got my man Zone in the house. Let me say peace. And then let me write one other thing. What's going on, Golden Melanin? And we got Kevin Creed that's in the house. I see you, Kevin Creed. Thank you for being here. Let me send this out. Peace. And thank you for sending it out. I really appreciate that. Now, let's get back to this next thing right here. So this was a TV show where you have a black conservative who says things are better for us. Things are not, things have gotten better for us. But America is not a racist country. And let me play this. I want to drive this home with this video too. And here we go.
Conservative Jaywan Shakur Jones. He joins me on Black News Tonight. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, sir.
All right, so let's talk about this. The first thing is, Senator Tim Scott says that America is not a racist country. I want your take on why America is not a racist country, since you said you agree with him.
Yes, I agree.
Let me say peace to Cat PY2. Thank you, brother, for coming over. And As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to give that person who super chatted me, Gordon, I'm going to give you a super chat celebration in just a moment. Here we go.
For a simple reason that we live in 2001. It is April of 2001. My belief is no different than current vice president's response today, talking to George Stephanopoulos. She said the same thing. She does not believe America is a racist country. But she goes on to talk about the history of it. If we're talking about the history of America, of course, you have to deal with the 50s and 60s and beyond. But we're talking about today, where black people, particularly black people in America, of any people of African descent, have more opportunity and are more privileged than any people of African descent on the planet. So I agree wholeheartedly with him, and I do so because the facts just do not follow it. Yes, there is racism. That's not anything that I believe Senator Scott denied. But in the grand scheme of things, are black people where they were 50, 60, 70 years ago? No.
Is it possible that America could have been more racist 70 years ago, but still be racist, based on your logic?
Based on my logic, I don't think so. And I say that because the idea, the premonition that Senator Tim Scott was attacking or responding to was that America today is still systemically racist. That no matter who you are, what you do, or your personal decisions, you will be oppressed, or you are oppressed, or you are a victim or victimized in this country by the simple nature of your skin color. I don't agree with that. Again, the facts do not follow that.
Okay.
We are victimized by the simple fact of our color and our heritage. What are you talking about? That's why you have black men that are being shot by cops. That's why you have black people that are being mistreated in health, education. You have young black kids. There's an article that I put out earlier, ladies and gentlemen, where black children of this generation are saying that they are feeling some of this racism. What is he talking about? Yeah, black people are in a better position than our ancestors were. That's a fact. But that's what black conservatives argue out all the time. They don't want to deal with what's happening now institutionally. Let's go ahead and hear some more of this nonsense.
Okay, you say the facts don't follow that. That's an interesting idea.
Yes.
So we know that, for example, black people who commit crimes, drug crimes, for example, get longer sentences than white people, even if they have the same drugs, the same amount of drugs, and are doing the same actions. We know that black children are suspended in school more. We know that black children are expelled from school and don't have lower graduation rates, even when we control for class. We look at COVID rates, and we see that black people are dying at higher rates. We see that black women, for example, get pain medicine in a hospital. They're less likely to get pain medicine in a hospital.
You hear what he's saying? These are facts.
Based on their skin color. Would you consider those structural factors or individual choice factors?
My question to some of those instances is, how do we know empirically, not assumptions, not implied, how do we know that those issues are due solely because of race or due primarily because of race? When you look at...
See, he's a dummy. How many of you in the chat room put a one if you remember the black woman who died? They said she died of the virus. She was in a hospital. She was a doctor, a medical doctor herself, and they wouldn't give her pain medicine. They wouldn't give her certain medications that she was asking for. And she told us when she did that video that went viral, and she told everybody, they're killing me in here. They're talking to me like I'm an uneducated woman. I'm a doctor myself. I'm a physician myself. And I'm telling them I'm in pain. And we already have documentation. There's articles about this. There's been statistics out there that black people are treated different in hospitals as it relates, especially when it comes to our pain threshold, when it comes to medications and treatments that we need, that it's bypassed on us. How many of y'all remember that? And this Negro, who's got the, he's got the Shaka name at the end. You would think he would have better sense. Jawan Shaka Jones. You would think he says, well, give me evidence. She was definitely a real life living evidence of how this whole thing works. Man, what's wrong with some of these people?
The illiteracy rate.
So
in the black community.
I can answer that for you. I can answer that for you.
Go ahead.
So there have been longitudinal studies in education, for example. If you just look at the data, they do that. And again,
right, there's been data. Go right ahead.
We also control for other factors like race, like class, like geography, etc. When we look at the studies in hospitals, we see the reports, and also we can see what level of pain you have to express to get certain types of drugs in hospitals. And when we control for, or when we identify race or isolate race, we see that as a factor. So there is empirical data to substantiate that. But my question is, would you consider those systemic issues?
No, I wouldn't consider those systemic issues in the sense that based on where we currently live, how we currently operate, there are currently no amendments to the Constitution. There are currently no laws on the federal level, on the books, that particularly discriminate against, particularly alienate, or particularly group black people and then separate them. We don't see that. We don't see that. In fact, America, unlike any country on the planet, has made progress to remedy those wrongs. Is there work that needs to be done? Yes, but to make the claim, to make the statement that America is systemically racist, it's endemic, and there's nothing that we can do because it's at our core, is a flat out lie.
You know what? He's crazy. I'm sorry. This man is completely crazy. He's laughable. He's a joke. He's got to be out of his damn mind if he thinks that racism doesn't play a role in American society, and it's not. He said it's not a stigma. It's just a. You don't show me. I don't have any data. What do you mean? There's plenty of legitimate history and current things that are happening to prove out what America is and has been for a long time. Now, the brother on there tried to give him the statistics. He talked about various issues that are going on, but he wanted to kind of wipe around it. This is the problem with the black conservatives who think like that black conservative and many others like him. They are too busy trying to show white folks that I'm not like the other black people. See, I'm different. I love the country. They're the biggest ones beating their chests about how much they love the country. And it ain't, look, nobody is more patriotic as black people in America. If you just look at our history, we fought in every war this country's ever had. No one has sacrificed more than we have. And I showed you footage today that they actually did have black people in concentration camps. Not only after slavery, but even up to it. That's what this was about. This was a concentration camp where they were talking to this young man here.
Do you have any food here to
That's
give
a
them?
concentration camp that young man was in.
What time does your mother...
That young man was living in a campment. And they tell us, oh, you don't need reparations. And then you've got people. I'm going to show you the contrast between somebody who's got her head on right about how this world works and somebody who's got their head in the sand. This is George Jackson's mother. George Jackson, look him up, was an activist in a community. And this is his mother breaking it down. And let me give her the utmost respect here with the breaking news.
Information is power.
Only if people are violent to him. I can be violent also, and I imagine so can you. You see, that's the whole story of America. They take their violence and turn it back around on somebody else. I don't have to talk about American violence. You can look all over the world and see American soldiers everywhere fighting in other people's countries and killing them. So if I were running the country in America, I wouldn't open my mouth about violence. As many people that they've murdered in Vietnam in the past 10 years, and they're going to talk about violence. As many black people that get killed every day in this country and nobody knows or cares, and they're going to tell me about violence. How they wiped out a whole nation of Indians, and they're going to say something to me about violence. I don't want to hear it.
All right, there it is. You hear what she said. She told the truth. Super chat time. Woo. Thank you for the super chats. All right. I got a super chat from Gordon earlier, and now we got Meadows. Thank you. Everybody, thank you for the super chats. In the cash apps.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch.
Thank you.
9 out of 10 roll through my hands. I'm by
We've
my
got,
lonely.
oh, my man.
Savage, now my baby wants to hold me. Thank you. I love my fans, don't need no friends.
All right, we got my man Blue Jeans who came over. Blue Jeans. Blue Jeans, it's good to see you, brother. Blue Jeans, man, I got to get you on the platform and interview you. Blue Jeans, good to see you coming over here. Peace to you, brother. We got Tiffany Jackson, Golden Melanin. We got RY, DOD, The Life with King Wage, Earl Owens, who's been supporting me heavily. Kevin Creed, just a lot of great people who came over. We got LaShawn, and she says, let me see if I can read this. I'm gonna only cash app you starting next week. Okay, I appreciate that, sister. I appreciate anything. I don't demand it because I do this from the heart, but I appreciate your support. And I appreciate my man Blue Jeans. It's been a minute since I've seen you over here, but I appreciate you coming over, brother. Appreciate you coming on over, brother. I love you on Club's channel. Club's channel. Great channel over there. Fantastic. They give a lot of I got to get you guys both on this channel so that you can continue giving that information out about how to improve your YouTube channels and what have you. You was a guest on her channel, and it was fantastic the other day when I was watching, brother. So I want to thank everybody again. Shaka, everybody who's come in. Oh, you cash at me, brother. Now I got to go back in there and I got to crank up the music again. And y'all know how this all goes. And here we go. Wait a minute. Here we go, folks. And here we go. All right. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up.
All right.
I'm by my lonely. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me.
All right.
I'm number one up on that court.
Once again, Blue Jeans, brother Blue Jeans, thank you for the support. I appreciate that support, most definitely. Thank you.
Information is power.
Let's come back over to the next video. Now I want you to hear a difference in contrast between what that sister just said, and here goes Leo Peretta, I think is his name. Listen to what he said. He said that there's no extent of racism within the police departments of this country. Let's listen. If I'm saying it right, let's hear what he says. Let's hear it.
Hi, Leo Terrell 2.0. I want to be as clear as I can. There is no systemic discrimination in law enforcement in this great country. There is no systemic discrimination in law enforcement in this great country. It is a lie. It is a big, fat lie. And I challenge anyone who watched this video, name me the police department, name me the city, and name me the chief of police where there is systemic discrimination, racism in a law enforcement department in America. It does not exist. Name me the department.
He's crazy. He's crazy. Leo is crazy. He's a crazy man. He's a madman. If if he believes that. He's another one of these black conservatives. I think he has an exclusive deal on what's that called? Fox propaganda channel. He has all of these news networks are propaganda. It's not just Fox. All of them, CNN, MSNBC, they all do a poor piss job. But Fox News has definitely been a channel, if you could even call it that, that puts out a lot of garbage. And he's got a new exclusive deal with them. So of course he's going to get on social media and now put out. We got Negroes talking about America isn't a racist country when we got so much data to prove it out, past and current. Well, we got currently black people being killed left and right. And as I said, let me put this up here. Remember, I talked about we got the Asian bill to protect Asian people, and then you got Republicans like this, right? Like Ron Paul, who are holding up the anti-lynching bill. They haven't been able to pass that, make it law across the land. So what is that? Why is it that they can do this, pass the anti-Asian bill, but they can't pass the anti-lynching bill, which has been affecting black people for God knows how long? Now, remember this right here. I'm going to put this on the screen. Remember this right here. Black Americans are still victims of hate crime more than any other group. James Byrd. How many of y'all remember James Byrd? Put a 1 in the chat room if you remember James Byrd. James Byrd, who was dragged to death in Texas 20 years ago, became one of the namesakes for a 2009 federal law expanding hate crime legislation, but just 100 hate crimes have been pursued by the federal government. Right. So when he got killed, they said, OK, we're going to push the hate crime. They didn't make a hate crime bill tailored to black people. They just said, we're going to push what's on the books already. And guess what? The federal government hasn't done enough. And isn't Joe Biden part of the federal government? Isn't all these politicians a part of the federal government? All of them, not just Biden, but all of them that have been in office. Why haven't they pushed forth the federal laws to protect black people from these hate crimes? But they were very much willing and ready to make sure that they took care of the Asian population. And this is no hate on Asian people. They got what they got. But black people, we've been getting hate on us forever. I told you, black people are being, the latest crime statistics for hate in the FBI is 2,314 or 56 black people being the victims of hate crime. This is versus 205 Asian people going back to the latest FBI statistics of 2019. So black people have been catching hate prior to what's been happening to Asian people currently right now. And there's been no hate crime bill that was tailored to black people. You didn't see Kamala Harris talk about putting one forth or Joe Jim Crow Biden putting one forth. OK, and we've got a anti-lynching bill that can't even get passed. And we've got black folks like this that'll tell you that racism is a part of our imagination. Racism doesn't exist, black people. Come on, stop complaining. You're living better than your ancestors lived. Yeah, we are living better in some instance, but there's still things that are not equality. So how many of you in the chat room remember Brother Byrd? Put a 1 in the chat room if you remember what happened to this brother. They pulled his body apart, dragged him. This was in Texas, good old Texas. I mean, let's really tell the truth and shame the devil here. Let's really tell the truth. I want y'all to look at that article. I'm not making stuff up. I'm not pulling stuff up. That's not true. Make sure you subscribe to the program. I'm not making stuff up, folks. Let me take this off of the board here. Boy, I tell you, make sure if you haven't, because we're talking about truth today, make sure you share the video, because I would appreciate that. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you like the video, because I definitely would appreciate that too. My glasses are jacked up. I'm waiting for my appointment in next month to get the new glasses and contacts. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not, and check out a video that you may not have seen. And just so you know, I do have a second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. If any of the mods in the chat room could drop that particular link to the second channel, go over there and make sure you subscribe to that second channel, folks. I would appreciate it. Definitely. It's about truth. It's always been about truth. Let me come back over here, and this is a one that is definitely. Let me just play it. I'm gonna play an audio for you, and I have a video because I'm getting close to the end of the presentation. I have a video and an audio that will prepare you for the video that you're about to see. This is about, when you talk about racism, about America being a racist country, you got to go back to good old religion. All right, you got to go back to religion and how religion plays a part. Hang on, folks. How religion plays a part.
Tell the truth. In
the racism of America and why America still is a racist country. I'm going to let you hear a little bit of this and then go right into the video, which is all this is going to be short. And here we go.
During the years when they were enslaved, black Christians in America generally didn't have their own churches. Where they were allowed to attend services, they had to sit in back. Only later could African Americans get churches of their own, often called Sabbath schools. Ladson Presbyterian in Columbia, South Carolina, dates from that time.
I'll see y'all later. All right, take care, my friend. I'll see you later.
I visited Ladson shortly before the church closed its doors because of COVID-19. The atmosphere after worship that Sunday morning was cozy.
That was a wonderful trip we took.
Yeah. Christina Lucas, 88 years old, is a longtime member at Ladson. She told me the church's roots come from another church a few blocks away, First Presbyterian, where blacks had been relegated to the balcony.
We grew out of the First Presbyterian Church. They got the space here for us to have a Sabbath school so that the blacks could come and worship alone.
Despite those ties, Ladson Presbyterian and First Presbyterian have little to do with each other these days. Lucas can't imagine attending the mostly white church down the street.
I've never had an interest in considering that.
You don't know anyone who goes there?
I don't know anyone who goes to First Presbyterian Church, no.
Neither does Hemphill Pride. He's an elder in the Ladson Church.
I see that church as a stranger, really.
In the estrangement between these churches is a story of the racial division in U.S. Christianity, how it started and how it's persisted. First Presbyterian in Columbia was led in the years before the Civil War by a preacher who delivered sermons Sunday after Sunday justifying the enslavement of black people.
The relation of master and slave stands on the same foot with the other relations of life. In itself, it is not inconsistent with the will of God. It is not sinful.
The words of James Henley Thornwell, read here by an actor. In the years when he presided at First Presbyterian, Thornwell himself owned slaves. His message to fellow slave-owning Christians, no problem, they were all right with God.
The scriptures not only fail to condemn, they as distinctly sanction slavery as any other social condition of man.
In the First Presbyterian Cemetery, there's a monument to members of the church who served the Confederate cause. James Henley Thornwell is among them. Educated in part at Harvard, Thornwell was, in his time, the leading Christian theologian in the South. He supposedly memorized huge sections of the Bible. He also served the prevailing economic interests at a time when they were under challenge. Bobby Donaldson directs the Center for Civil Rights History at the University of South Carolina.
Slavery, in the minds of many, was necessary for the South to thrive. And so Thornwell used his pulpit to defend the South against charges by the North, by abolitionists, and more or less said, those who are supporting abolition are themselves atheists and socialists.
Now, it wasn't enough simply to say slavery was okay. A preacher had to explain why it was justified.
He provided the intellectual defenses that many slaveholders needed to explain how slavery was not unchristian, that slavery was not abhorrent, but that slavery was actually justified by biblical teachings.
Such as in the Apostle Paul's New Testament letter to the Ephesians, where he writes, "Slaves, obey your human masters with fear and trembling and sincerity of heart."
All right. So let me oops, hang on, folks. There's something I want to pull up real quick. And I got that right there perfectly. All right. So let me take this off. Thank you, everybody that's out there watching. Let me play just a little bit of music because I want to pull something else up for you. I'm going to pull a video for you in just a moment, but something else I want to pull up. And let me go ahead and play a little bit of music and be right back with you in just a moment. Be right back in just a moment. That's one of our sheroes.
Information Man, please make sure to subscribe to his channel. Information is power.
That's one of our sheroes. Okay, everybody, this is what I want to do because I'm near the end of the presentation, and I thank everybody for hanging in there with me, your patience through all the little boo-boos here and there. But, this when you're live, all kind of things can happen. Phone calls, all kind of things can happen. But that's the beauty of live streaming because everything is happening right then and there. Let me go ahead and do something here. I want to play this video for you. The reason why I played that video, that audio about the churches is because I don't know how many of you, I was supposed to do a video on this and it kind of slipped my mind, but recently, talk about America being a racist country because this happened recently. You had the Southern Baptist Christian Church run by white folks who are now telling black Southern Baptist Christian Church leaders, preachers, that they can't teach racial theory to their congregation. Oh, I tell you the truth, folks.
Tell the truth.
And we shame the devil over here. We tell the truth and we shame the devil.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to
subscribe to the channel.
Information is power.
Let me play you the video because this brother who is a prominent member of the church, matter of fact, what is it that I was going to do? And I thought that I had I thought I had them, but I don't have them on here, but it's okay because the video speaks for itself. So this deserves a big drum roll as well. Here we go. So recently, not in the 1950s or the 60s, but we're talking about the 2021, you've got this type of racism, institutionalized things. They're telling black theologians, black preachers that are part of the Southern Baptist Church, and some of these preachers are leaving the Southern Baptist Church, that whole political system that they got there, telling them, we don't want you teaching racial theory. Matter of fact, let me tell you something else, and I should have had that on here today too. Recently in Louisiana, there was a hearing because you had a politician saying that they don't want racial theory being taught in the schools. This was a white man who said this because white folks in Louisiana are feeling uncomfortable with them telling the nasty history of what this country did to black people. So they're saying to them, why can't you tell the good stuff about slavery? What? How could, it's laughable. There isn't anything good about slavery. There is no good parts to slavery. But you got people like that of that ilk on school boards, involved in government decisions. They don't want us teaching racial theory. They don't want us teaching the history. All these different things. And matter of fact, let me correct it. It's not a theory. All these things are real. They happen in history. Let's give us the proper drum roll for this right now, folks. And here we go.
Information is power.
Here we go.
We were all blindsided by the action of the Southern Baptist Convention presidents. We didn't see this coming. We don't know what motivated this, in as much as they did not denounce the Proud Boys, the lost cause theory. There are many things that they could have denounced that they have chosen not to. Why CRT is still a bit of a mystery. But the issue is 6 Anglo males have provided with the institutions rules about race, what is permissible to say, what is not permissible to say, and they will be the guardians of what is said about race in a way that we think is, first of all, disrespectful to the black pastors and congregations that you would make such a ruling without considering us. I got a feeling Frederick Douglass, Phyllis Wheatley, Sojourner Truth, W.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington would look at us, would ask us to say, you all are going to let an institution make rules about race, the boundaries of what can be taught about race, and you have zero input in that, not only the conversation, but the decision. So if this is not, some have already left, like your illustrious pastor, Charlie Dates, many others, and more people are quietly leaving than even verbalizing it. But I do have a long history with them, 45 years. It's been...
He said he has a history with them 45 years and they treat him like that? He has a long history, 45 years, and they treat him like that. Check out my social media, folks, as well. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Information Man Show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last of my presentation today. I hope that I was able to educate those who may not have been aware of some of these happenings, these realities. I hope that maybe I reinforced what you already knew to be true. These are the reasons why America still remains a racist country. It does not mean that there's not black folks or folks out there who are not, they don't have good jobs and not, doing good things or are getting opportunity that they've made for themselves. Not saying that. We're certainly not where we were before, but America still has these problems. If we didn't, we wouldn't have all these black men being shot like this. I did a video on my podcast. There was a 6-year-old black kid. I even talked about the kids. There was a 6-year-old black kid who was brought to court for picking a flower. There was a black kid that was made to take his own poop out of the toilet at school. There's a black kid being made to drink urine, and he was being bullied racially at school. There was a young black man that I did a story on my second channel who wore a shirt that his mother gave him called Black King, and he was made fun of for wearing it, and the teacher called him a racist. We got our kids being attacked, and we got Negroes running around here talking about racism doesn't exist anymore, and America isn't a racist country. If it's not a racist country, why do we still have incidents where black people, men and women, and our children who are soft targets are continuing to be impacted by a thing called racism? Why can't a young black male walk through his own neighborhood without being harassed by a race soldier? I'm going to tell you why, because I'm leaving the best for last, and that's Dr. Frances Welsing. I'm leaving the best for last. Let me put her picture back up here. I want you to hear what she has to say. This is going to be the conclusion, the crescendo to the program today. I want you to hear very concisely what she's saying. If you want to know more about Dr. Frances Welsing, you need to get her book, The ISIS Papers. She breaks it down. That reason why we have racism, the reason why we have these problems, it's about genetic survival of the fittest. Not wanting to be genetically annihilated out of existence because black gene is not recessive. We can produce ourselves with any race that we're with. Our gene is powerful. No, everything comes out of black. You don't get colors from white. Everything comes out of black to create other colors. She breaks it down. This is the reason why these things continue to happen to us, where they can say, hey, I thought he had a gun, but it was a sandwich. I thought it was a gun, but he had a cell phone. I thought it was a gun, but he had Skittles. Oh, I thought I had a gun. I thought I had a taser, but I shot him with a gun. This is why this stuff continues to happen. It has not let up. And Mrs. Welsing, Dr. Welsing, is going to break down to you the color complex. She was a student and was mentored. She was a Neely Fuller Jr. is the one that was her biggest mentor. And I want you to hear what the sister is saying right now because it's powerful. And here we go.
Information is power.
If they waited around 9 months, they found that all of the children looked like the mothers. And so they realized, wait a minute, we are a tiny minority in Europe and no other place where there are white people. So they said, wait a minute, what if these men got in votes? And started going from south to north. We could genetically disappear. Now this may not make sense to black people, because under white supremacy, black people try to get rid of their color, don't we? White people people don't want to disappear. And I have asked audiences of white people, do you want your children to be colored? Do you want your grandchildren to be colored? Do you want your great-grandchildren to be colored? Do you want your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren to be colored? I'm polite and they're polite. What do they say? No. Meaning they don't want to disappear. So I said, if you mean this, then you have to do certain specific things in all of these areas of activity so that white does not disappear on planet Earth. Now, unbeknownst to us, this is the critical underlying motivation for all of the behavior of people who classify themselves as white on this planet.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So that is Dr. Frances Welken. Thank you for listening to the program today. I really appreciate everybody that is here, that has supported me. I know some folks have left now because I've been on for a long time, and I understand this is a lot of material that I had to go through. It takes time, and I understand that, people come by and they support the channel, and then they may have to go because, people are living life. So I appreciate that once more. I appreciate all of you for hanging in there with me, and this is the way things are going to be on the channel. It looks like I will be going live more consistently at around 1 to 2 o'clock on Sundays. Every now and then I may surprise you with a pop-up show during the week or maybe a Saturday. I'll keep you all will know. I am doing a part 2 with Ray Alexander. He contacted me, and we're going to be doing a part 2 about the reverse migration. This time we'll be focusing on black people that live in Detroit and some of the eastern seaboard cities, eastern and northeastern cities, and as to what's going on in those particular areas economically for black people as to whether they should leave and move to the South. Let me be honest right here. To a certain degree, like Neely Fuller Jr. said, we're in this prison. So whether we move to the South or whatever, it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to run away from racism. Even if you are a person who is Pan-African and you believe in the ideas and ideologies, and there's nothing wrong with that, of going to the continent of Africa to make a new life for yourself, guess what? You're not going to be able to escape, even in a continent like Africa. You won't be able to escape some of the colonialism that goes on, that still is prevalent over there, because you still have Europeans who still are having interest in the resources in the continent of Africa. And then you've got the Chinese that have come over from China, and they're very much interested in the resources in the region, in the continent as well. So it's not like black people leaving America, we're going to go over to Africa and somehow we're going to rid ourselves of some of the ills and some of the issues racially, socially, in society. Those challenges are still going to be there. However, I do know that there's people that say that it feels good when you go to a country where everyone looks like you and where you're not defined as being just black, because some people identify themselves with a tribe, a nation. And remember, the truth of the matter is that race on its deepest level is nothing but a social construct. It's a social construct that was designed to control us, to control how we think, control how we treat each other, to keep us in a box. So we are more than just this social construct. But it is not a coincidence that black people tend to be the ones that are the main, that are targeted. Now, you're hearing this coded language where people are saying people of color, They'll say, oh, blacks and brown people and what have you. Every time I look at that, it makes me take a step back because I say, well, most of the people that are being attacked by police at high numbers, and I even showed you that black people, we're the ones that are being attacked based on hate more than anybody in this society. Our numbers are way higher than what's happened to even Asian Americans, yet there is no specific bill tailored to us. I showed you today that even Barack Obama had the audacity to come up with I'm going to show it again, a bill that protected the police. And there it is. Obama signed the Blue Alert Law to protect police. I want people to look that law up and see it for yourself because there were 2 officers in New York, as I said earlier in the show, who were shot some years ago. We remember that. And he immediately signed something into law to protect police. Black people were being shot left and right under his presidency. Black people are being shot left and right right now under Joe Biden's presidency. Oh, and I'm not going to leave your favorite man, Trump. Black folks were being shot under Trump as well, and he didn't do anything. Matter of fact, he loosened the laws. He loosened the feds in their investigation of what was happening to us. Oh, and even under his leadership, they start saying that we gotta go after the black extremists. Remember that term, black extremists? They had no evidence of that. So all of these administrations, from Obama, Clinton, all of these administrations have done nothing to put out laws to protect us, or laws that we can use to hold these police accountable, hold these racial national groups accountable. We saw what happened on January the 6th with the breach of the Capitol building. A lot of those folks that were Trump supporters, a lot of those folks were members of the Proud Boys, Boogaloo Boys, all these white nationalist groups. Why do they exist? Why now all of a sudden they're saying that they're a threat and we got to get rid of them? They've already known that these groups have been around. They haven't done anything to neutralize them. And they tell you that America's not a racist country. The fact that you got to fight, you got to do something about these groups, or you say you are, tells you that America is racist country. Because if it wasn't a racist country, it wouldn't be breeding hate groups, breeding these type of folks. Dylan Roof can shoot 9 black people. He gets a Burger King. A black young lady is protecting herself, and they say, oh, she gets shot 4 times. Kyle Rillinghouse, he goes out there and shoots some folks up, walks around with his gun. The police don't do anything to him. He gets to go back home. He goes to a trial. They let him get some bail money off. They can't find where he's at. Oh, he's getting all type of privilege. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all out there. Brother DOD, you've been rocking with me for a long time, and you've been rocking with me the whole show. You haven't gone anywhere. Golden Melanin's been rocking with me. Earl Owens, my man Zone has been rocking with me. I see people in the chat room still. And we got Shaka. We got Fashion for Life, Peggy Roster. We got people that are rocking with me, that's been rocking with me since I came on live. They've been rocking with me the full 2-3 hours, whatever I'm on. Thank you. Let me get ready to get out of here. I know you guys got other things to do. I see you around the YouTube streets. I got to eat, rest, and get ready. The young one's coming soon. And once again, I'm sorry about that. I got that phone call in. I'm renewing where I'm staying at, and I had to answer that phone call. No doubt. I got to take care of some personal business, and it didn't mean to let it drip into the stream, but it is what it is. I appreciate everybody, and let's get ready to get on out of here. Everybody, peace.
Information is power.
Peace, everybody. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody being here today. night, everybody. Peace. And don't forget to subscribe to the Information Man Speaks podcast.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, 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 whoa. I hit record and drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier.
To subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.